Okay, so we've got an application here with an application recommendation for fitness. So acknowledge it first before you download and select which one you would like and why you may start it off with and install, uninstall the ones, whatever. The reason for you to continue it. Some shiny object syndrome within me. So these are my research for today. So you can see this one here, 0:14 is like the equipment. I would test myself and identify what equipment it is. What I'm going to do is I'm going to have a look at the gym machine and then identify what gym machine it is, what exercise can be done, and say it in front of the device. And that should be effective too. Yeah. So it's good to kind of get to understand what kind of equipment it is. That could be a test. How the equipment functions, how do you use it? Okay. The QR code could be on it too. Some songs. We got some brain improvement things. Okay. Brain improvement. Okay. Study techniques and things like that. So we got Andre Dio. Okay. We had looking at, I think he's more than an IFBB Pro. Okay. So the FST workout with the Evogen Nutrition. Okay. Let's see how his physique is, and so I kind of made this prepared this way. So you can see his physique. All right. And see his progression video and things. That could be it for another video. Brain training. Did some games and stats, and you can see the INT and max stats and the like games, and you see that your tank build or the way that some characters built, and so kind of in my ADHD mind, kind of want to put things all over the place until you come up with maybe your own project idea with Game Maker 8.1. It reminds me of Tibia, actually, so you can see the mana, the health, and the power, and the position, and its stats and ability. So it's like you have a certain amount of IQ, and you imagine these 3D models. So you imagine, if you refer to games that are racing games, and you can see the speed, the acceleration. There's a difference between speed and acceleration. How fast something goes, or an acceleration, how fast something goes, or the speed of how quick something goes. So there's a definition, and you can look at it up on Quora and the forum, and people try to explain it to you in the most simple way that you and I can understand in straightforward. If something's straightforward, so not everyone can understand something that's straightforward, okay? But some things can be explained that are straightforward, okay? So here, when you have Pokemon, there's a difference between it. So an IV is like a Pokemon's genetics, and an EV is when it's trained. It's trained to do like when you have a pet and you train it, like the way that you would train it to be obedient and do tricks. But in this case, when it's Pokemon, you can choose to raise its attack or speed, or depending on what its nature is. Okay, depending on what Pokemon it is and the nature it is, and what ability it has. So you can see IV calculation chart. Read about around forums. Okay, so when you're language learning, there's areas that are in your brain that you can be aware of and understand what they are. Frontal lobe, parietal lobe, and temporal lobe, and all this stuff, right? So yeah, what I would do is I would probably try and put it in a document. So look, knowledge, curiosity, cognition, grit. So, alright. Leg stretching, okay? And see the leg stretch, how it's done. Certain bands to get, okay? Study methods, okay? Structural learning and things like that. Preparing for a lesson, okay? Some things you can explain, some things you'll summarize, some things you will overanalyze, some things you don't overanalyze, sometimes you overthink, okay? So being aware if you're overdoing something. So there's a video here, alright, how to raise your IQ by 50 points, okay? You can raise your IQ by 50 points. Watch that video and see if it works for you to pick up lines and how things work in certain ways in a random video, the screenshots and stuff. So, well, it's like tattoo idea for me. It's like, yeah, okay.